You've been listening to a 3CR podcast produced in the studios of independent community radio station 3CR in Melbourne, Australia. For more information, go to allthews.3cr.org.au.
We're putting up new buildings, we're knocking down the old. We're working in the summer heat and in the winter cold. And the labour power we sell, me boys, for a hard-earned weekly pay produces mighty profits for the greedy MBA. And whether we were born here or born in Italy, in Greece, in Spain or Ireland, in England or Fiji, we all of us are workers, united we must stand, until the wealthy bludgers have been driven from our land. We faced deregistration, it backfired in the face. We're not fooled by arbitration, we won't stay in our place. We hit the bosses hard and fast to win and keep our gains, and break a couple of concrete pours to back our log of claims. So keep your powder dry and hold your head up high. It's class to class and face to face, our limit is the sky. We've got a fighting history and we never will be cowed. Our builders' labour is a name to make a man feel proud.
Good morning, Concrete Gang. Coming on up to our favourite time of year when we ask you to dip in your pockets and give us some dough for the Radiothon, which will be on the 17th of June, and the Concrete Gang fundraiser, which will be on July the 9th.
Monday RDO.
Yes, but Gorilla, it is a big event at a new venue.
First of all, I'd like to say good morning to the listeners. You haven't announced me and String Bean. It's all about you again. And the only reason
Whose picture's on the poster?
And the only reason I'm back here is because the ratings have gone down. I haven't been here for 2 weeks. They said, Jesus, Gorilla, hurry back, mate. They are absolutely butchering the show that you spent years building up with your knowledge of the industry and your fine humour. You blokes have dragged it down.
You have.
Ratings have dropped off.
I think you've just proven one of your favourite sayings.
Shot myself in the foot?
No. Never say hello to him.
Yeah, that's
but he won't shut up. Anyway, good morning, Stringy. Good morning, Gorilla. We are going to a new venue this year. It is it's a change from the hotel we've been frequenting for some years now, and we are looking forward to a new venue and... Are
you going to want me to tell or are you going to tell it?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, you're building it up. You're building it up.
Building it up. I'm doing the PR for this.
Oh, yeah, right. All right.
That was my job.
You have...
No, he cuts everyone out, mate. You get a bit of information with the old Warren, and, mate, goes to his head.
So what is the fantastic new venue?
What the story is, we're giving a little bit back to, obviously, we're fundraising for 3CR, but we're also going to give it a little bit back to the community, which is the Port Melbourne Bowling Club. For all the listeners out there, we've had quite a few functions there over the years. If you remember, young Skinner used to run his some Paddy Days turns there and all sorts of things, and the people down there at the bowling club have been very good to the union, so we're going to go down there and have our turn down there and give a little bit back to them. So on the 9th of July, the Concrete Gang pull-up's going to be down there at the bowling club, 9th of July at 130 Spring Street, Port Melbourne, which is behind the Port Melbourne Town Hall. We're going to have the Jaded Cats again. We're going to have the world-famous raffle, $5,000 travel award, $5,000 travel voucher, and a $500 liquor voucher. So, and the only tickets are sold there on the day, so you've got a big chance of winning that. So we've also got the food, the barbecue, so it's $20 tickets. The stewards will have the tickets, so chase your stewards up, sell them $20 for you. It gets you nice food and the entertainment of the Concrete Gang and the Jaded Cats. You can't beat that, can you?
It's a good deal every year, and we always get a good turnout, and just make sure you don't go to the wrong place. So 130 Spring Street, Port Melbourne, on the 9th of July for the fundraiser for 3CR.
Behind the Town Hall, 11 a.m.
So the bowling club does great things for the union, good things for the community, but not such good stuff for federal agencies, I heard. Is that...
Oh, yeah, years ago. That was a classic. They got investigated by the... I'll never get it right. What agency was
ASIO?
it? ASIO, yeah. Yeah, they apparently... young Skinner had the Irish boys down there, and they were investigating. One of them was, I don't know who he was. One of the speakers might have been, I don't know, what would you say, illegal or something, I don't know, or
under scrutiny by British security.
Thanks very much, Warren, for saving me there. And, of course, the brothers down there just stack fat and told them to go fuck themselves and multiply, and there we are. So that was all dealt, very well, and we move on. But that's the type of people we like doing business with, isn't it, brothers?
So cheerio to ASIO, who are doubtlessly listening in, though they probably go to the podcast nowadays.
And to all the federal agencies, the ABCC and ACCC and whoever else is listening.
And every other C.
Righto. Now, we should, just before we get into the meat of the program, just mention last week...
Hang on. You reckon that wasn't? What are you saying?
I'm saying we're gonna give a little bit of credit to someone this week.
Oh, Jesus.
We named last week as a scallywag Energy Australia, and the shenanigans that had gone on with one of their subcontractors removing Azzy from the Yallourn one. And we are in a situation to say that there's a little bit of publicity, of course, down the valley about locals not being used after the state government had spent a fortune on getting people retrained, including in asbestos removal. And EA took note and had made some changes, and good on them, because there were things that would have embarrassed them if it had kept going the way it was going. Righto, moving on, let's talk about Michaela Cash and Malcolm Turnbull and their mates. They have got lots of mates, and they don't mind appearing on sites with hard hats and high-vis jackets and going, these are the decent people in the construction industry and we love them. But the only trouble is they're not all that good, these people.
You've got to be careful who your friends are. And only a couple of people will have Michaela Cash on their jobs, or Malcolm Turnbull, obviously. And you run the big risk of...
Usually shitbags, but anyway.
Well, who was it? Was it Abbott who went on a site and he got one of our members saying, "I'm not going to shake your hand, mate." What is it? It was a golden moment. So you come on a construction site when you're a Liberal MP and you're going to hopefully get in some trouble. But
give him one of them, did he?
Yeah, that's right. The air handshake. But these guys... these shitbags invited them onto their jobs. We're happy to spruik the ABCC, talk it up. Oh, the CFMEU are a bunch of lawbreakers. We've heard it all week in Canberra about the CFMEU and what we get up to. But how the tables can turn on you. You've got to be careful who you get on camera with, because two mobs. We've got Geocon in Canberra, who had Turnbull and Michaela Cash on their job, and BGC, is it? Over in Perth, and they have both now, just as Hotchkiss did in his time, come afoul of their own laws. The Fair Work Act, they denied entry to the union illegally. The Geocon have come into a settlement with the union over a court case, and BGC have been found to have breached the act over in Perth. They're continuing to do the same thing, blocking entry. But the lawbreakers, in a fortnight where the CFMEU had their charges dropped, and Johnny Lomax has had his charges dropped and has had his costs paid and all that. It's the bosses who are coming afoul of the law, and it's quite entertaining to watch. I wonder how much Michaela Cash will mention those lawbreakers now in Parliament.
Well, she's not the minister anymore, so she's going to duck and weave as usual. And if you think breaking the law by bosses... Oh, yes, Malcolm. Righto. Breaking the law, breaking the Fair Work Act, it happens everywhere. And another place they don't want to talk about it happening is obviously in Melbourne. And Seymour White, a Queensland civil contractor, have got caught out on video denying entry under the Occupational Health and Safety Act of this state, denying entry and standing over, with numbers, standing over a CFMEU organiser.
If you haven't seen the video, check out the Vic CFMEU website. It's on the Facebook and all that. Shocking display on night shift, about 6 bosses and some security mob physically blocking and pushing around a union official. This is the reality of it. They call the CFMEU standover merchants, but this is the reality that they've been caught on camera. And the way the BGC case has gone and the way that the Geocon case has gone, I imagine Seymour White are going to be a bit worried, I'd say.
And as we've mentioned before, Seymour White aren't exactly going great guns with the projects they are doing for the state government.
Swan Street Bridge, bit of an embarrassment.
Oh dear.
Hoddle Street, not a tidy job at all.
And the Chandler Highway Bridge.
And that's where the video comes from. What kind of bridge were they supposed to be building?
A curved bridge, which meant that they didn't have to resume a whole lot of private properties on one of the approaches.
And what kind of bridge did they build?
Nor did they have to take too much off the Royal Talbot Hospital.
You can't blame them. No one told them.
What kind of bridge to build?
Why are you blaming them? They just said, you want a round one or a straight one? And
they
said,
only had to put a little bit of a curve in it, just slightly, and the road alignment would have been sweet. No, they built a straight bridge, and now they've got to resume and do all sorts of things to try and straighten up the approach roads from both ends. Oh dear, how sad. And they owe subbies money and all sorts of things. So Seymour White, you're going to get another nomination this week.
Bonjour to your new French owners.
Yes.
They're not going to be too happy with that performance. It's going to cost you, I'd say.
Yes, and I found out this week that they are not exactly going great guns in Queensland either. Oh dear, how sad.
Tears fall down like rain.
Indeed they do. And therefore we might cut to a track.
Yes, we've got one here from Skyhooks. Whatever happened to the revolution?
Whatever happened to the revolution? We all got sold and drifted away. Whatever happened to the revolution? I think it died just yesterday. Whatever happened to the revolution? We all got sold and drifted away. Whatever happened to the revolution? I think it died just yesterday. I think it died just yesterday. Well, I remember back in 1917, the army wanted you and the army wanted me. There's a war going on, we're out in the streets, wearing our badges and stamping our feet. Whatever it takes, whatever the stakes. Now today everyone's a bit older. We're getting richer, but we're getting colder. We're looking for something that just ain't there. It don't mean nothing to have long hair. So when you're ready to make a stand, open your mouth and raise your hands. When you're sick of your party, sick of your sweet, get off your asses, I'll see you out in the street.
There it was. What did happen to the revolution?
Well, they must have all, I don't know, what were Skyhooks
Drifted
on?
away.
They're taking some nice, a bit too much of the nice stuff to a bit high to get onto that Revolution business, a bit distracted. And if you were a certain boss on the Mernda Rail dishing out some less than classy substances, you probably want to just cut that out if you're trying to look after people, not do the wrong thing.
Well, let's just say it's very easy to get compliance when you're giving away cheap shit product. And let's just say we'll get on with the revolution. Okay, moving along. Scaffold alert. Incident down at Royal Hobart Hospital. Ties were removed from a completed scaffold. There is an investigation going on. The job was finished, it was signed off, the shade cloth was on it, etc., and the scaffies left the job, and next minute, overnight, there's high winds and the scaffold's starting to lean over. It didn't go over, but certainly leaning over, because all of the ties along the top were removed. And this is a constant problem. And sure, no one's perfect, and there are scaffolders who maybe have not done the job as well as they should in all sorts of incidents over the years. But the constant problem, the biggest danger, is other trades removing ties from scaffold. So one of the things that you need to make sure of on your job is that the ties are still in place and people do not remove them. If a tie has to be moved for a purpose, then it should be done by the scaffolders, not simply the glaziers or the blokes installing the precast or someone doing some carpentry on the facade. It has to be done properly. Make sure it's done properly. Righto, let's talk about some health and safety issues that have occurred the last week.
Something else to watch out for?
Oh, yeah, like palm trees floating in the sky.
Traffic management helps. Which one are we talking about? We're going to Buckley Street?
Buckley Street, Johnny Hollands. Chinese Communist Party doing it right for the people of Victoria.
That's right. Well, there we go. Mernda got a mention now. We're over in Buckley Street. Holland's a disaster all over the job. We'll get on to Arden Station as well soon enough. But Buckley Street, video, once again, you can't get away with anything these days. It's all on video. Big palm tree lifted up. They were pulling out a palm tree. I think the local residents were a bit upset about it, lost their lovely tree. So they all filmed it, and then without stopping the trains, live train line, goes the cropper, swings out over the train line.
Like a great big pendulum. Just
lucky the train didn't come at the wrong time. Very, very lucky. But not good job management. They could have just waited for a shutdown, but no, push, usual story. And what about down... Arden Station, the one of the stations which is going to be part of the Metro Tunnel scheme, and Azzy everywhere. Indeed, and pretty predictable in that area, industrial area. But yeah, once again, John Hollands not doing the right thing, not reporting it. So we saw the same thing down on St Kilda Road, asbestos exposed to the public and to workers, and once again trying to get away with it.
As they always do. Now, over in Western Australia, there was a incident which occurred on a Hanson job. Now, Hansons have long bragged about how they've never killed anyone or had serious incidents. They're the safest builders in Perth because we're non-union. That makes us safe. Well, precast went over the side of a job.
Indeed.
And I haven't seen that happen too often, but it bloody happened this time.
Oh, that was a banned word indeed, wasn't it? Squashed a couple of cars.
Luckily, no people in them.
Very lucky once again. Only luck there. And Hanson, of course, after declaring on 60 Minutes with Joe McDonald that they never had any issues. They did have a fatality on their job. A backpacker had a very nasty fall, fatal fall, obviously. And now this panel's fallen off the side of a job and crushed a couple of cars in a public car park.
Jerry Hanson, wacko. Now, out at the Glen, there's a bit of excitement this week. Ongoing problem.
Well, no, about excitement. Pro-Bill made a decision to use a non-EBA civil mob to do the roadworks and all that there. I think they rue that decision now because there was always arguments about the traffic management and all that there, and Vic Rhodes was saying this and they were saying something else, but unfortunately there's been a poor lady, 98-year-old lady, did a turn on the Springvale Road and ended up running into a truck which wouldn't have been parked where it was and damaged the car. So luckily the lady was all right at 98 years of age. I suppose you couldn't, every day's a bonus, I suppose, but she she didn't get hurt. But I mean, the traffic management been an absolute nightmare out there from day one till now and ongoing. Vic Rhodes reckons it's all right. I don't, and it's still a problem. So they luckily no one got hurt.
That's right. But this does point up again that Vic Rhodes had to be dragged kicking and screaming into establishing a code of practice for traffic management. And let's just say it probably is not honoured as much as it should be. And unfortunately, it comes back to the union and our organisers and our members to actually try and enforce it. Because as soon as it's not a main road, it's a council matter, they're covered by the code, but there is no enforcement. Vic Roads, in this case, should have, in fact, being a main road, have been intimately involved in this whole thing because traffic management, with the amount of cars and the speed of cars, is a huge problem, and it's going to keep going, and unfortunately, it'll probably involve some fatality sooner rather than later. Righto, and we should mention that we've got the branch meeting coming up on Wednesday night at 540 Elizabeth Street, up on the 7th floor, and we might go to Scallywags. And we've got Geocon, VGC, Seymour White, who are all getting nominated because they can't carry out the law, having paraded themselves around as great law-abiding, Liberal Party-loving citizens.
We should add Hanson to that list, still denying entry even after the incidents they've had.
And what about ProBuild out at the Glen? Element 5.
Element 5, Carlisle Street, Balaclava. They've had another fall after a fatality last year. They haven't learned their lesson, a fall off a ladder, and a hospitalised worker failed once again to notify WorkSafe.
Best Fab.
Best Fab out in, is that Mernda?
Probably.
I think.
Yes.
Mernda, so John Holland again. But yeah, Best Fab think that they can get away with that, having first aid facilities on their job. That is not on. And it was a bit of a saga actually. They hit a shed and then they brought in a shed and then they said it wasn't a shed, took all the tea and coffee away, and then they said it was first aid and there's no bed, no first aid facilities. Just a joke.
Well, they're best, aren't they?
Best at fabricating their first aid facilities.
Yes. And Premier Cranes.
The perennial.
Yep.
Don't pay anything right, don't pay the blokes right. Undercutting the whole industry, and I can't believe that they're still around, but obviously, they're doing the best to run the industry into the ground.
Righto, so who are we going for with Scallywag of the Week?
Oh, I like Seymour White for not being able to build a bridge. And
we've had a few of them not being able to build bridges. I remember I was on one of them.
Lawlessness.
And I particularly think Seymour White deserves to be exposed for not only incompetent, but trying to disguise their incompetence to their client Vic Rhodes by basically attacking union officials. They're trying to intimidate them. They may not physically have laid hands on them, but they certainly tried to intimidate, prevent, hinder, and all the rest of it. So I'm going for Seymour White. They deserve what they get. And Suki Lalas. Well, last week we had some Suki Lalas, the boy from Ballarat, and the old Caesar and all the rest of it. And I reckon they'll still be sooking up this week. But I want to nominate Premier Cranes for Suki Lala. You'd think he had done the world a bloody favour, employing blokes and not quite paying them right.
And something we should mention as well would be Arc Tribe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We should mention that on Friday afternoon, over in South Australia, a memorial service was held. Ark was actually buried in Queensland, which is where he was living at the time of his death. It was a very short illness. No one could work out exactly what the medical issue was, but he passed away very rapidly after being admitted to hospital. And Ark, I've got to say, did himself a treat. He was just a rank and file worker on a job, and an incident occurred in relation to health and safety on that job. Ark was a rigger. There was an argument about how the job was getting done. Then our good friends from the ABCC decided to demand that he face a compulsory interview. He said no, and then they sought to prosecute him. It was a big case, and at the same time, Noel Washington was also being pursued, and that was the first time the ABCC was around before it became the Fair Work blah, 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 and then it got back to the ABCC, but nothing really changed. And Ark stood up, and we did well, and congratulations to Ark, and condolences to his sister and his daughter and all the family. He did himself a treat.
Not guilty.
We go the same old way.
Dare to struggle,
Dare to win.
If you don't fight,
You lose.
And we're going to go out with Burning Spear and Built This City. But nice, cool and relaxed, because it's an RDO tomorrow.
You've been listening to a 3CR podcast produced in the studios of independent community radio station 3CR in Melbourne, Australia. For more information, go to allthews.3cr.org.au.